Sammy. You want to do 5 rope climbs though? You sure? 5's got. They've got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Do you want to go 3 then?
Yeah, she's something for me up.
Or like a 1 legless rope climb?
Yeah. Now let's go 3 rope climbs. The semis.
Some of my skill work after as well, and then I don't want to be fully cooked for the skill stuff.
We can half it if you want to.
Because I'd like you to help me with either my ring muscle ups or my handstand stuff, like some gymnastics stuff.
Halving it, so it's only, you're not going back up. So you're just going down.
Yeah.
You're not going, because it's a chip, right? So then it repeats. So let's just do that. Josh, what do you want to do? Do you want to do dumbbells or kettlebells?
Yeah, kettlebell, dumbbell, deadlift will be fine.
Let's go. What's your range? Are you full breath? What's your range always? Like, do you just do the heads? Or
Yeah, just heads.
Let's go. Dumbbell for you. I guess tell us a little bit about your journey, kind of where you started in CrossFit, how you sort of got to that point of being at the games that year.
Sure. So I've been doing CrossFit for 11 years now. 7 of those years have been in a wheelchair after I broke my back. And so CrossFit started out as something to do to just help out with life, and then after my accident, it's been sort of the biggest influence and help in the way they live my life. And competitively, it's sort of snowballed. I've always enjoyed competing, something I've always done. I've played sports growing up, so a big part of my rehab has been in the gym. It works for me. It's helped me a lot. So being competitive has just sort of been the natural progression of getting better and pushing myself, I suppose.
How have you seen the division grow and the growth and happening within Australia and New Zealand?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Globally as well, the sport has continued to grow. I think in 2019, when I went to the Wheelwad Games the first time, I think there was only 2 Australians, myself and Eric Brown. Yeah. And then I think in 22, I think there was 4 of us, 3 or 4 of us. And that's what, some like 30 people have qualified this year, which is pretty awesome. So to see it grow and sort of, I don't know, I don't think I've played a massive hand in it, but if someone sees what I've done and sees what, and gets a glimpse of what's out there and gives it a crack, then that's a win, you know, like, so.
This year you're going in as number 1 seeded in your division. So what I want to ask you is, what do you feel is your biggest competition this year?
The competition this year is pretty tight. I think during qualifying there was only sort of 20 to 40 points between the top 3, and so it was a bit sort of, you know, bit of a nice little tussle there. But I mean, this is as good a chance as I'll ever get now. I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years, so I think it might be time to put a little cherry on top.
Yeah, that'd be super awesome. How is your training week within your box? How does that look?
Day to day, I only ever train in the classes. Yep. I don't do anything outside of that. So I get my 1 hour a day like everyone else at the gym. I like to be a part of the community. Yep. I try and push the intensity myself as much as I can. But yeah, 5 days a week, 1 hour a day, just hard work, grit, bit of a laugh with the guys and a bit of a carry on as well.
So tell us a little bit about, I guess, your CrossFit journey and how you got into CrossFit.
Well, I was doing
athletics before that, and when COVID hit, I started not going because we weren't allowed to, and then someone suggested to do CrossFit, so I just started doing CrossFit.
What does it mean to you to be going to the CrossFit Games this year?
It's one of my greatest achievements that I've made it to the Games. It's the highest event there is for adaptive athletes, so it's pretty exciting that to be one of those in the top 10, to be going and compete in these first adaptive CrossFit Games.
What does it feel to be part of the adaptive community and it growing as much as it is in the Oceania region?
When I first started CrossFit, I hoped that one day there would be CrossFit competitions for adaptive athletes, and now I'm competing around the country and it's exactly what I wanted, and I'm amazed that it's the sport is growing, and I feel I'm doing something important for future athletes, like I'm helping pave the way.
Just try not to. I get nervous for things like this.
Give us a little bit of background about, I guess, how you got into CrossFit.
So I joined the Moorabbin CrossFit after Victoria's crazy lockdown, and I'd noticed a group of CrossFitters at the park when we weren't allowed to go to gyms. And at the point in time, it was hard in Victoria, like mental health, being locked down, and I was at a normal gym and I felt like I just needed that little bit more. So I joined CrossFit Moorabbin, and from then I never looked back. Like every time I walked into the gym, there was something that I was able to do and progress at, and I just fell in love with it.
What propelled you to get into competing?
So in my year last year, Amy Bream was my coach, and she actually suggested that I register and do the qualifiers for Oceania Throwdown. And at the time, that scared me. I was like, nope, I hate being in front of people. I definitely don't want to embarrass myself in front of everyone. I couldn't think of anything worse. And she planted the seed and she worked on it, and eventually it grew, and she was like, well, you can just come and meet me. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna, set the example. Like I say it to my kids at school every day, like you got to push yourself to grow. So I was like, right, I'm going to go, and at the least I'll meet Amy Bream and I'll come back with a few new friends. Yeah. And I had the time of my life. It was a life-changing moment for me. I had the best time. I got some great PBs and I met some amazing people, and I just felt part of a community.
What does it mean for you to make it to the CrossFit Games?
Yeah, it's super special to me. I guess for like my whole life, people were like, you can't do this, you shouldn't do that, you better be careful, don't do that. Doctors, surgeons, everything, like, not bubble wrap you, but they're like, oh, you can't do that, you can't do this. So for me to qualify to go there, I've got to drown all those thoughts out in my head, and I know that I deserve to be there because I worked bloody hard to get there. So for me, it's special to go because I'm showing myself mainly, but everybody else out there that, like, if you want to challenge yourself, you can grow, and you just got to put yourself in those situations. Yeah, for me, growing up, there wasn't really a role model. It was like a Paralympian or no one. So to be part of something that's growing and changing is really important to me. I would love for, the little Sammy back then to have someone that they could look up to, or just gyms and clubs. And, as a kid, I couldn't even do team sport. Like, they were just too scared to, include someone. So I think raising the awareness for, kids with disabilities as well, so that they can start at a young age and feel that sense of community from a young age, because it took me until I joined CrossFit Moorabbin and meeting the Oceania adaptive community to feel that. And what I would really love is for the future generation to just grow up and it be normal for them. Like, go and join in a mixed netball team, or, join your local CrossFit kids, and there's kids with disabilities there. So just raising that awareness. So from the moment I walked into CrossFit Moorabbin, Kyle didn't treat me any differently. So I remember walking in and I couldn't lunge, couldn't back squat, couldn't do anything. And he was like, go and get the safety bar, you're doing squats. And I was like, I don't squat. He's like, yeah, you do, girl. Now you do. Now Lulu and Lou, they are the coaches for my day-to-day classes here. And, if I'm jumping in and we're doing skill work, they'll, give me tips. And again, there's no leniencies here. They're like, you're doing it, you got it, get out of your head, go for it.
What are your goals for these games?
The goal is to go and have fun. I know that it's a massive opportunity to just qualify for the games, and for me, I need to try and learn to live more in the moment. I want to get out there, give it my best, and actually enjoy it.
Hang on, let me sort it. Just give me a second.
I would be putting on, I don't know how to use Spotify. I have Apple Music. Okay, good. And
is set your core when you deadlift, develop your ab muscles. By using a belt, you don't develop your ab muscles, you lose them. Okay. All right, by having a belt on, you're just relying on it all the time.
yeah.
All right, so set yourself every time you do a deadlift. And this is lightweight for you. Okay? Set your core.
Okay.
If you set your core and set your back, you should be fine. All right? Don't rely on your belt. It's the same as with when people back squat. You should really only be using your belt for heavy percentages.
Heavy percentage, like over 8%.
Yeah, like all 1RMs and things like that. If you can go can lift without a belt to a point where you can get to 90% without a belt.
Yeah.
It's good. Because that's the thing, people just go, oh, I need a belt, and they don't actually develop their core. And it gets to a point where your body, when it lifts, you're starting to lift really heavy with an undeveloped core, and that's when you start hurting your backs.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so develop your core, because what happens is your core's weak, your lower back takes over, and then you start injuring yourself. Whereas you want to develop your core the same as you want to do, as you're developing heavier lift, you want to develop your core.
Develop your core alongside it.
Yep.
So hard.
Yeah, my wrist cop it every single time.
So good though. The rings are definitely like a skill that
Oh yeah.
you can appreciate. Like when you see the people at the games and the Willwood games doing them, you can really appreciate how hard they've had to work to get them to look effortless. Like,
Oh yeah.
You've got to get that foot on top. Yeah.
let's go, Jamie.
Do well, Jamie.
That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Just like,
Looking good, Jamie. There you
Bang.
go.
that's it. Now come down.
Yeah, awesome.
Comes under, bring it over, stand on your toe. Now stand. Stand. Yep. You don't, what happens is the rope's like this, and all the work you just did, this other foot just slides back down the rope, but you have to stand on top to clamp it, so then you've got a solid base to stand up on. Okay? Let's go. So that's it. You can do this, and I'm going to talk you through it. There you go.
Nice,
That's
Jamie.
it. Take your time.
That's it.
Get your lock off. Jamie on top. Get your lock off before you move your hands. That's it. That's okay. You're all right.
Unlocked.
So what are you going to practice? What are you going to practice? That's okay.
I have no idea after that.
Huh?
I have no idea after that.
No, why are you going to go home and practice?